Good morning, everyone. We have Coach Payton for the call. Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning, Coach. We'll begin with Troy Rank of the Denver Post.
Coach, thanks for joining us today. As you had a chance to sit back and look during the bye week, what are the keys for your offense over this final month? Things kind of staples you want to see, and also what went into the decision to move on from Josh Reynolds?
All right, two questions. I think from a roster management standpoint with Josh, it just became a numbers game. He's done a great job. We would have liked to have been able to keep him. But as guys got healthy and came from reserve injured, we had to have space. Some of the younger guys have been playing well, and I wish him the best. He's one of those guys that helped us get to where we're at right now.
Zach Stevens, DNVR.
Coach, what's your message to the team coming out of this bye week, and what did you learn about your team through the bye week?
Well, look, we played Monday night. This morning we met. We kind of went through what we felt like we did well, who played well. Guys will work out, lift. There's no grand message. Key for us is just the process, the routine, as we get ready for this game this weekend, and then certainly making the corrections in the game we just played.
Chris Thomason, The Gazette.
Yeah, hi, Sean. I know last year when you heading into the last game of the season, even though you were eliminated from the playoffs, you made a big deal of having a winning season. I know that you guys have bigger goals this year, but how do you feel that you're at this stage of the season now, one game away from solidifying a winning campaign?
I don't know that one person downstairs, myself included, have thought about right now this team just having a winning season. I understand the question and I appreciate it, but I think our aspirations are a little higher.
Parker Gabriel, The Denver Post.
Hey, Sean, you maybe touched on it a little bit, but I think you said a couple of weeks ago that you had studied, your teams coming out of a bye week. I guess in your mind, what is the most important thing for sort of hitting the ground running after a bye week, and where do you sort of, look in that department as you get back in the swing of things here over the next couple of days?
Well, I think, look, the time away mentally, physically, the rest you get is healthy for the players as well as the coaches. A lot of people ask me or would ask, do you prefer a late bye, middle of the season bye, early bye? After a while, you learn there's certain things you don't control, so you don't pay really much attention to them. And so this is as a later as a bye as I've been a part of, and yet I think it fell at a good time. We've got a good month of football ahead of us here. That's gonna be obviously they're going to be, all those games are going to be important, and so you want to be as healthy as possible and as and as rested as possible. But it starts with a game this week at home.
Mike Kliss, 9 News.
Yeah, Sean, just about that last game last Monday, your defensive passing wasn't its typical deal. What did you see that you did wrong? And
that's what we talked about after the game. Obviously there's things when the game ends that you look back on and say, hey, we would have done this differently. And, it's finding a way to get your best players against, their top receiver. But there were a handful of things, not just on defense, but in all three phases that we would have done differently. And we got to learn from that.
Andrew Mason, The Fan.
Hey, Sean, what did you think from the film of how Chris Abrams-Draine did last week, and how did he progress on the practice field over the last few months?
Good. He's smart. He's got a savviness to him. I think, he's getting stronger physically. And I thought he handled his role Monday night, going in there and playing. I thought, You had a pretty good game in the kicking game. That's important. So overall, I was pleased.
Vera McKee, Altitude.
Coach, what have you learned about successful teams succeeding when it matters most late in the season that's perhaps different than earlier in the season?
Perhaps different than what?
Earlier in the season. What change? I'm sure there's different levels. What have you learned about championship playoff teams? What are their habits that change, if anything, late in the season when it matters most?
I think, look, you want to be playing. You want to be playing well towards the end. Each team's a little different. In 2009, we had a team that started 13-0, and then we lost a tough game week 14. Week 15, we did it as well. We secured the number 1 seed, and we rested starters in the final week, and everyone was critical of that. It felt like it's never, you have to. There's no have tos. At that time, we just felt like it was necessary for that team. We ended up winning 3 in a row and winning the Super Bowl. So, but you do want to be, playing for something and playing with confidence, but then also, hopefully, you're eliminating some of the mistakes. Our penalty numbers are still problematic. I don't like our penalties relative to the offensive line. We're near the bottom of the league in that category. We're near the bottom of the league relative to the secondary. Those have to get cleaned up, or they'll end up costing you.
Coach, that appears to be all the questions we have today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.